Hello ladies, and welcome to another tutorial. Today we will be making our Snow White cake topper. And we are going to start by putting together our banner. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use my green foam tapes, and I'm gonna stack them up all together. Now for this part of the banner, I cut it in glitter cardstock. In this part, we're going to glue it on top of the white banner, okay? So I'm just going to use my Burley Art glue because of the precise tip, because it's going to be easier for me to not make a mess. So let's go ahead, glue it, and attach it to our banner. And there we have it. We have a cute banner with the leaves hanging from side to side. So this is how your banner should look like. If you questioning yourself, how did I get my white paper to have the look? That's just embossing. It's one of my embossing folders that I use to make the cute texture to it. It's like an elegant texture. I love this embossing folder. Up next, we're gonna start gluing the four pieces of our like half mirror that we have there. We have two red pieces and two gold pieces. Just put, make a pattern, one red, one gold, one red, one gold, and just put foam tapes in between and stack them up nicely. Make sure that they all line up together really good, okay? Like I said, make sure you line them up all nicely. As you can see right here, I noticed that I didn't line them up, so I had to take them apart and then just flip it over because they were not matching. So just be careful, like before you start gluing, putting your foam tape, make sure they all match nicely together. Okay,
Okay,
and now
so
that
now that
we are
we're
done
done
with
with these
those,
two
we're gonna
pieces,
go
let's go
ahead
ahead
and
and
get
grab our
started
mirror.
with
You're gonna
our
start with the four
mirror.
pieces
Okay, the
first, which is the
first
two
four
ovals
pieces that you
and
need
the
to make
two
this mirror is
strips.
gonna be the two oval rings and the two strips. Okay, and in order to do this, you are going to start by grabbing your strips and you're gonna fold your tops in, but right before you do that, try to like kind of curve them up a little bit on the side of your table, so that way you make them curve and it's easier when you're gonna go and attach them to the oval rings. So once you do that, start by folding the tops in and then just putting glue and gluing it all around. So as you can see, just with glue, we glue it all around it, close it up. And now that we are done with that part, we're gonna go ahead and add glue because we need to add the part that I cut in the iridescent foil so it could look just like a mirror. Super pretty, so I wanted to give that mirror look. Okay, so now that we did that, we're gonna go ahead and bring our tabs all the way in, and we're gonna glue the other oval ring that we have. So we're just gonna go ahead and glue that on top, just like we did with the other side. Just put some glue, glue it on top, and that's it. This part is done. Let's go ahead and continue doing the rest, which includes our shaker and then covering all the parts that we see glue or that we have little openings. That's all going to be covered. Okay, and just like this, we finished with our mirror, and now we're gonna go ahead. Well, not our mirror, the oval that goes on the mirror. We're gonna grab one of our red pieces of the mirror, and we're gonna glue the oval part to it. Okay, and now that you have glued it together, you're gonna start adding the shakers. What you want to put inside your mirror. You could add glitter, you can add beads. It has a good enough depth for you to put tiny little beads. So just go ahead and do your magic when it comes to making a shaker. Okay, now in this part, I'm bringing it up close so you could see. Don't worry if you see little openings because this part of the mirror is going to cover that. So if you have a tiny little opening, don't worry about it because that's going to be completely covered once you put your acetate and once you put this piece of the mirror. So don't even worry about it. Your glitter, your shakers is not going to come off. So let's go ahead and put our glue so we can add the acetate so our mirror can be nicely covered. And now that we have it all glued, we're just gonna come and add the gold part to be the decoration of our mirror. And that's it, that's done. That's your mirror. Super cute. Let's put it aside and continue with the rest of the topper. Okay, so now for this part of our layers, we got um, two gold, one red. One gold is smaller than the red, and then the other piece of gold is bigger than the red. So we're gonna start stacking them up with foam tape. Just make sure that before you put the foam tape, you line them up nicely and make sure which one goes in front and which one goes in the back. When you line them up, you're gonna see that the crown, the mirror, and the banner line up together nicely. But the circle part in the middle, that one has a little bit of an offset. So that one's not going to match. I'm going to show you right now what I mean by that. Okay, so now that I attach my gold piece to the red piece, look at this part. That's the only part that has the offset. Everything else matches perfectly. Crown with crown, banner with banner, mirror with mirror. But the circle part on the left side doesn't. It has the little offset just so we can see the red part of it. And now we're gonna do the same thing when we attach the red piece to the gold piece. Okay, and now that we have attached all these three pieces together, let's go ahead and bring our blue piece. Same thing, we're gonna line them up. Notice that that one's a bit smaller than the gold. So we're just gonna put foam tape on it and add it to our gold piece. Okay, now that we have that done, let's go ahead, get our foam strips and start making our shaker. The foam strips that I will be using today are the 6 mm foam strips. You can actually find them on my website. They are available if you would like to purchase them. I have them in all different colors. But for today, I'm going to use the red color. And all I do is I'll just bring it around my background. This is the cute background that I found for us to use for this particular topper. And all we're going to do is grab the strips and come all around. Notice that the strips have a double side tape on the bottom, but not on the side. So on the sides, they are not attaching together. That we're gonna have to attach them with glue. We're gonna have to bring hot glue and attach the sides. But for the bottom part's pretty good, the double side tape, because it keeps it all nicely together. So as you can see, I do add glue to the sides just to keep them all together. You don't want any glitter, any shaker coming off your cake topper. So just make sure that with a little bit of glue, you glue your sides. Now you're gonna go ahead and get washi tape, and you're gonna cover the holes from behind before you add any of your glitters, so they don't come off. So just flip it over, cover it with your washi tape, and then we go ahead and we do our magic, adding all our glitters and shakers. Okay, and now that we have added all our glitters, we're gonna go ahead and take the cover of our foam tape so we can go ahead and add our acetate. So let's just be careful in this part when you take out the backing of your foam tape. You don't want to be too rough that the glitters glue onto the foam tape, because then that's going to leave a gap between your foam tape and your acetate. So be really careful on this side when you take off the backing part. As you can see, when I take it out, I'm extremely careful. Like, I grab it from one side, I hold the inside with my nails, and then I just continue slowly taking it out. That's why I didn't even want to fast forward this part, because look, some glitters got on it, and I'm carefully taking them off because I don't want them to make a gap in between with my acetate. So just be careful with this part. Just be nice and gentle taking it out. And now finally, let's go ahead and bring in our acetate to cover everything up. And the acetate, you just put it on top of it. You don't need to add any glues or anything. You just place it on top, put a little pressure, make sure it's nicely attached to your foam tape. And this part, it's done. Your shaker's pretty much done. So now let's go ahead and take off the washi tape. Okay, and now that we take the washi tape, we're gonna grab our balloon lights. We're gonna put hot glue on it and we're gonna glue them right there where the holes are. So just put hot glue and just place it right in there and they're going to attach nicely. Okay, and now that we have attached our balloon lights, we're gonna go ahead and add foam tapes to the back and we're gonna attach it to our cake topper, just like that. Now that it's being attached, we're gonna go ahead and bring our half mirrors and we're gonna glue them to the side. So what that does is that's gonna help us cover the depth that will be in between the back part and the mirror. Let me show you what I mean. So when we will glue our mirror part, look at the depth that will be in between if we don't add the extra pieces of mirror that I attached to the file. So now we're gonna go ahead and put those there. I'm just adding a little bit of glue because I had already attached them and removed them, so to show you guys the part of the depth. So let's go ahead and add our mirror, line them up nicely. So you guys can see the difference now of leaving a hole in there. And now, there you go. You see how the whole gap pretty much is covered. Now there's not gonna be any gap and it's gonna look like we have a bunch of layers. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put our covers, our decorations. So obviously we don't want to leave the red foamy right there. So we want to bring our ring. I did it in a shimmer white. I cut it in a shimmer white so just it could give the elegant touch. So we're going to glue that right on top of it. Okay, now that we are done with that, we're going to bring our hot glue and we're going to glue our mirror to our cake topper. Let's go ahead and make sure that it lines up, that it matches nicely, and then just place it right on top. And then of course we're gonna do the same thing with our banner. Once we have that one there ready, we're gonna put our banner. Don't worry, one of your leaves it might bend a little bit, but don't worry about it because that's right underneath the mirror, so it's not even gonna show. But it's gonna go just like that. Put a little bit of glue and that's it. Glue it together. And as you can see, our cake topper is already coming to life. So now we're gonna go ahead, put a little bit of glue on the crown and attach it just to the tip of the white circle. You're just gonna place it right there, let it dry. Don't worry about the gap that is in between the glitter crown and the foil gold crown because it does not look bad. It looks perfect. So that's why I didn't do a bunch of other layers like I did with the mirror. I didn't want to do it on this side because that one just looked perfect the way it was. So now we're going to come and attach our bow. So this technique that I'm going to show you right here, it's pretty much so I don't have to add foam tapes to this piece because it's super tiny and no matter how small we cut the foam tapes they were gonna still show. So what I did is I put a little bit of glue, like a little dot of hot glue, and then I let it dry so it could have like a little depth on it. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue on the crown, a little bit of glue on the bolt, let it dry. It's like a little ball of glue that is gonna dry it up, and then I come and I attach them, and it still has a little 3D, but it's a clear 3D because it doesn't show anything. as like if we were to put phone tapes, the phone tapes would have showed. So I didn't want to do that to this part. So let's let it dry and continue adding the other pieces while that dries up. Okay, so while those two things dried up, we're gonna go ahead and get started with our flowers. So in order for me to do my flowers, I use my twister. So I'm gonna do one in like slow motion, but then the rest I'm just gonna fast forward because it would just be tedious for you to see me make all those. I think it was what, three, four, five flowers, five flowers. So let's go ahead and do one together slowly so you guys can see how I do it. Rolling flowers are super easy to make. All you have to do is pretty much roll them up and just kind of keep them in your fingers together. So you'll see. So I start with my twister first and I roll it until like halfway there when I can no longer do it with the tweezers because they coming apart. I grab it with my fingers and that's when I continue rolling them with my fingers. Now, rolling flowers are easy to make, but you need to have patience with it and you have to kind of practice them because even though they do look easy because you just roll the flower, you kind of need to give it the shape. So the way I do it, like I say, is I use my twister, then I use my fingers, and then when I'm getting towards the end, I let them go a little bit, just a little bit so they can open up, and then I just put a little bit of glue and then I glue them together. But don't forget that part to like let them go a little bit so they can like loosen up and then glue them together. Like I said, I'm not the expert on rolling flowers, but I mean, they didn't come out bad. They came out pretty cool. And yes, it is glued to my finger, but don't worry about it. I didn't get burned. So now let's go ahead and make 3D our baby Snow White. And the way we do that is by adding foam tapes in between our layers. So I cut one of my layers in gold, the other one in foil. I'm sorry, I call one in red glitter and one in foil gold. If you saw me putting glue in the phone tape, it's because I always like to put glue when I'm putting my phone tapes on glitter paper. So let's go ahead, continue just making the 3D. I believe we need to do 3D on the Snow White, the little animals, which is the bunnies, and the number one. Okay, now let's bring back our topper and this is dried up. So let's add our bow to the crown just with a little bit of glue. Now you don't need to let it dry. You just put a little bit of glue and attach it to your crown. Just like that. Just make sure you line it up nicely. And I recommend you really do that little bow in glitter red because it just makes it look so much better. Really cute. Okay, so now that that's done, let's put a little bit of glue on the bottom so that can attach and keep our crown there together. And we're gonna do that to both sides of the crown. And then we're gonna bring our flowers. The three small ones go by the middle, and the two that are a little bit bigger than those go on the bottom with our banner. So make sure you don't put the big ones on top and the little ones on the bottom, because the small three roses, they go by the middle. The leaves, same thing. So the leaves, you kind of go into like put them however you feel more comfortable with. I kind of put like one was facing out, one was facing in. That's how I put my little leaves. Just like that. I put one like that, and then the other one I put it opposite, and I continue gluing my flowers around it. So now after you're done with the flowers, pretty much we adding all our decorations to the topper because we are about to finish. So we're gonna come and we're gonna bring baby Snow White and we're gonna attach it to the cake topper. Remember that there's a light there. You don't want to completely cover the light, but you don't want to leave it open either. So you kind of like go around it and see like where the light's still gonna show but not completely, if that makes sense. See, I put it right there. You guys don't see that there's a balloon light, but once we turn on those lights, they're gonna look amazing. So now that we put our Snow White, let's go ahead and bring our little animals and attach them to it. Remember, you had to do phone tape on the animals too. And then, of course, we also going to need to bring in our number one and just put all our decorations on the topper because we are about to finish. Okay, so as you can see, we have attached all our decoration to the topper, like the name, the little animals, number one, everything. Now, all I'm doing, this part is optional if you want to. I found some of my flat beads, and all I'm doing is adding beads to the crown. I'm going to a couple of beads to the flowers, and just to give a little more of details to my topper. And this is how our topper looks. So now let's go to our final step of adding the stick to our topper. Okay, so I have added like a little cut line onto the last layer of our topper so we can know where the stick is going to go. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make like a little tunnel. I'm gonna use my foam strips, and with the help of my stick, I'm gonna see where everything goes. Just gonna put them there nicely, and then I'm gonna make a little tunnel. Phone tape on one side, phone tape on the other side, and then phone tape on the top so the stick doesn't go all the way through. So you gotta make sure that you put phone tape on all three sides so your stick can hold nicely together, okay? So once you do that, you're gonna put phone tape all around it and bring it back to your topper. So let's finish this up. Okay, so now just bring your topper back to it, attach it, make sure it all lines up nicely, and that's all. Oh, and then I actually made these little stickers that says acrylic stick so the customer can know exactly where the stick goes. And that is all for today. We have finished our Snow White cake topper. I hope you guys loved it as much as I did because I'm in love with this topper. Now let's do a little testing of the lights. As you guys can see, our cake topper has lights, shaker, an amazing 3D. And yeah, well, it's come to an end. And thank you all for joining. I hope you guys enjoy. And leave in the comments how you like it. If you guys are going to make it, don't forget that the file is available on my website. See you on our next craft alone. Bye.